Here's the honest truth. Success is not about the age or stage of your equine business. It's about knowing where you want to go and using that vision of success as your filter for every decision along the way. Because when you have a clear vision and a system for measuring your personal version of success, then you can make confident, strategic decisions for your equine business. And that's what we do inside of Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program. It's a personalized one-on-one business coaching program for equestrian entrepreneurs ready to ditch the marketing overwhelm, overcome the roadblocks holding you back, and grow an equine business that meets your version of success. Friends, you know this about me. I am not here to promise you millions of followers or viral moments because that's for influencers. But if you want to connect with the right people and build a business that works for you, then I'm your coach. I have 8 slots available right now, and once they fill, I will not be opening slots again until 2026. So I invite you to head to stormlily.com/reins, get all the information, apply today, and let's work together to build your dream equine business. Hello there. Welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. And today is a bonus episode. So I'm super glad you're here. As you've likely guessed by now, my name is Denise Alvarez. And before we dive into what we're going to talk about, courses versus coaches versus communities and how to know which one is right for your equine business, I'm going to quickly introduce myself and then we're going to dive right in. Now, as I said, my name is Denise, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners to ditch the overwhelm, get the clarity they've been craving, and grow their equine business in a way that meets their definition of success. Now, I do this primarily through business coaching and then education, such as this podcast, and I have some online resources for you all as well. All that I do, friends, is so that you as an equestrian entrepreneur can be out doing more of what you love, whether you're in the barn, in the arena, in the round pen, behind the camera lens, behind the computer, out in your shop making gear, whatever it is that you are doing to serve the equine industry, I want to help you do more of that. And so here on the podcast, you'll always get a mix of step-by-step strategies, essential how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you not only see what's possible for your business, but I'm also here to guide you through that process so you can make it happen. And today we're doing that by way of talking about courses, coaches, and communities and how to know what's right for you. And spoiler alert, you will not hear me say only one of these is right for you. I truly believe it could be one of the 3, and that's what we're going to talk about, okay? Doesn't mean I believe it's only one. It could be, all right? So if you're listening to this episode, here's what I know about you. You're growth-minded. You're here, you're asking this question because you have ideas. And more than that, you take action. You're an action taker who wants to bring your ideas to life, who wants to build and grow a horse business of your dreams, which means your version of success. You also value learning from others and not building your business in a silo. You understand what it feels like to feel lonely in your business as an entrepreneur. And I'm so glad you're here. Even though it's just you and me here through audio on the podcast, I hope that through all of these episodes, whenever you join me on the podcast, you feel a little less alone on the journey. But maybe you're ready to go beyond listening. And maybe you're considering coaching since you've heard me talk about that more recently, or maybe you're looking at a course or a membership community geared specifically to your business. When you're ready to make a shift and invest in yourself and your business, a key consideration and question that you likely have in mind is, how do I know what's the right one for me right now? Now, if you go back to episode 124, after today or after this episode, go listen. Don't leave me yet, okay? But if you listen to episode 124, you'll hear me talk about the difference between done-for-you marketing services, do-it-yourself marketing, and done-with-you marketing. And you heard me then talk about these are options. Not one is better than the other. It depends on where you're at in your business and what you need at the moment. Now, today, again, you have 3 options to consider, right? You have courses, you have communities, and then you have coaching. And just as you heard me say in episode 124, I'm not a person who's going to likely tell you, this is the one thing that you need to do. This is the deal breaker. If you just invest in this course, this is going to change your life. If you just join my community, this will change your life. I don't truly believe it's just one, because I do believe that courses and membership communities and coaching can all play a valuable role in building your equine business. The best fit really depends on your season and your goals and learning style and other things that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay. We're going to help you to get clarity on that so that when you're trying to answer that question, Denise, I'm thinking about 2026 right now. It's almost Q4. And I want to be prepared. I want to invest in my business. I want to do something different. I want to expand. I'm tired of doing the same thing and not getting the results that I'm after. But which one's right for me? Should I just go buy an online course? Should I join a membership? Should I invest in one-on-one coaching? That's what I want to help you with today, okay? Because again, hear me. Yes, I have coaching as a program. And also, I'm involved in a community. I also have purchased plenty of courses myself and experienced results from those. And I have some self-paced online courses on my website. So I'm a fan of all of these. All right. So please know this episode is not just meant to gear you towards one particular thing. It really is geared to help you know which is right for you right now. Okay. So before we look at those considerations, what I want to do is define each one. Most likely, you are listening and you could probably tell me the difference, but I want to define it so we're all saying the same thing before we dive in. So let's talk about a course. What's a course? So typically right now, we're talking about digital courses when it comes to your equine business, but not always. There are some in-person elements that you could be part of, but the majority right now, when I have clients talking to me about what they're looking at, it's digital courses. Now, when you have a course, that typically will mean you have a curriculum, okay? So they're actually giving you their knowledge through a course and through pre-recorded curriculum. Typically, sometimes it's a live presentation. Your courses are typically based on a specific problem or outcome. They're really specific. They may be self-paced, meaning you watch it on your own terms on the timeline that works for you. Or it may be according to a certain schedule. So you may not have access to content until certain days, or you have to follow a schedule that the course owner or presenter provides for you. Courses are very much about content consumption, right? So if you're going through a course, you are going to be consuming content in some way. Typically, it's video, but you may have some PDFs. You typically will have resources or tools or templates that come along with the course. Sometimes your courses will have support included and sometimes they will not. It depends. That's not something that's the same across the board. Okay, so that is a course. When I talk about a course, that's what I'm talking about. Now, community. Some courses will have a community component, okay? So I do want to acknowledge that. Some of these are going to bleed together, okay? Especially right now, the longer these have been out and a part of our world and we begin to understand them, some of them will bleed together. So some courses will have a community component, but at the end of the course, at the end of that time period, that community component ends. It is not ongoing. So when I say a community and membership, I'm talking about an ongoing monthly membership program. You pay a monthly amount or an annual amount for this membership program. Typically, inside of a community membership, there are deliverables. Maybe every month you get a new video or a new resource. It can vary greatly, but there are deliverables typically inside of a community membership. There's a group discussion component inside of a community membership. Okay, so in a course, you may be going through it on your own completely, or you may be going through it with a group. In a community membership, a group component is clearly key, right? So it may be a private Facebook group, it may be another platform, but the point is there is a community component. And then you may have resources tools and templates as well when you join a membership community. It's not always going to be the case. Again, this resources, tools, and templates, you're actually going to see this in each one because they can be in each one, okay? But it's just not an across-the-board standard. Every membership community is not giving you tools and templates and things like that. It may just be the community component. But that's what I mean by community, okay? It's a monthly program, typically. It could be something you pay monthly or annual, but it is ongoing community. All right. The third one we'll talk about is coaching, or the third one we're considering, I should say, is coaching. Now, coaching is not the same thing as consulting, but I didn't add on a fourth C to this. All right. We're talking coaches, we're talking courses, we're talking community. We're not really talking about consulting today, but I want to clarify that because some people get them a little bit confused. And consulting is truly, I would explain it as it's a little bit more transactional. It's like, hey, this is my business and here's what's going on. I'm paying you to give me your opinion and I'll decide if I want to take that or not. Whereas coaching is really together, right? So coaching is not a one-time transaction. It is much more relational. So that would be my description of coaching versus consulting, okay? Now, some bullet points, like I did with the other two, about a coaching program. As I just said, a coach is more relational. They're going to be in your corner, sharing in your success. It's not just talking, okay? Coaching is not just getting on and talking and talk therapy, but there is an element of relationship to it. Now, it could be one-on-one or group coaching. So, for example, right now I have Take the Reins, which is my one-on-one coaching program. So I meet one-on-one twice a month for 60 minutes with my Take the Reins coaching clients, and they have support in between that. Group coaching would be meeting 1 versus 4, 1 versus 3, 1 versus 5. So 1 being the coach, and then 3, 4, 5, or 6 students or clients or participants that are a part of a group coaching program. That is something I'm considering and looking at and working on for 2026. I don't have details for you, but I will tell you that's something that's going to be in the works. But right now, for example purposes, we're going to talk Take the Reins, which is one-on-one coaching. The other element of having a coach is the strategy. So meaning they're able to talk with you and you can really dive into the overall strategy. It's not just community. It's not just taking in course content, right? It's looking at the overall strategy for your business. Coaching may be subject specific, so you may get a coach for a particular thing, or it may be more business in general. There's not a one size fits all to that one, okay? And then resources, tools, and templates, like I said before, sometimes that's in a course, sometimes that's in a community, sometimes that's with a coach. It depends. I have seen coaches who don't provide those, and it's just the coaching aspect. For me, inside of Take the Reins, you do get access to everything I've created. So anything online when you see resources that I've created. For example, I did a brand and voice guide this week for a client. So I made a template and all of my clients will have access to that. I have different templates for dashboards where we're measuring what matters, content calendar for a podcast, because I had a client that created a podcast. And so I created a template that she and anyone else can use to plan out their podcast content. So all of those things are included for me inside of Take the Reins. And then support. One of the big things in terms of coaching is that you have that personalized, customized support. So there's a call, right? There's a one-on-one experience. And then in between that, you have access to the coach. So they can give you feedback and it's very personalized and customized to you, your strategy, your goals. So you don't have to worry if your questions are going to get answered. So in a coach or in a course, you may have support like a live Q&A where the course content owner or presenter, has a Q&A and you submit your questions, right? But you're not having an engaging conversation in that. So that's something that's just different when you work with a coach. You're able to ask your questions and get those personalized answers. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I want you to consider as we look at the next considerations, okay? So you're considering a course, community membership, or a coach. And you're saying, Denise, I've heard you talk about Take the Reins. I'm trying to figure out if it's for me or if I should just join this membership that I found or buy this course. And I want you to make an educated decision that's best for you. So that's why we're having this conversation. So now we're going to dive into 5 considerations to help you know if a course, a community, or a coach is right for your equine business right now. Now, these are not hard and fast rules, okay? So we're going to look at these considerations because as I've tried to be very clear with you, my philosophy is that there aren't hard and fast rules that exist when it comes to growing your equine business because it's your version of success that matters. So I'm calling these considerations because I want you to consider each of these elements as you decide what's best for your equine business right now. So the first consideration is your stage of business. Your decision is likely going to depend on the stage of your business right now. Now, some people will base that on income level. Some people will base your stage of business on how many years you've been in business. I would say in this particular instance, what I want you to consider is the thing that you are hoping to learn, right? So you may have been in business for a number of years, but the stage of marketing in your business is still a little bit new, because you haven't really been diving into that. So you may not be considered a new business, but it may be that marketing is new to you, or you're creating a membership yourself, because I know that many of you are doing that. And so that part of your business is what's new to you, even though you've been in business for a number of years. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So a few considerations for that as you look at your stage of business. If you're just starting out in that realm, whatever it is, then a course actually can be really helpful in giving you the foundational knowledge that you need without a huge investment. So if you're saying, I think I'm going to go this direction and I'm not sure what to do, and so I'm going to just kind of, I don't want to say a course is for dipping your toe in the water, but typically, and we'll talk about investment in a minute, typically it's not as deep as an investment as some of the others. And so you can get the frameworks, you can get the tools and the support that you want when you're just starting out in that way. Now, again, if you're here listening and you're saying, Denise, I am just starting my business, right? I know many of you listen to this because you're wanting to learn how to build your business from the early stages. I have some people that jump into one-on-one coaching and that works really well for them because they have other ways to be able to invest and support their business. Okay. But for some of you, okay, let me give you a personal example. For myself, when I was just starting out in the business, a course was the route I went, right? Instead of, giving a whole bunch into coaching when I didn't have the income to justify it just yet, I went the course route. Okay. So I'm saying your phase of business, your stage of business, maybe just starting out, that may be something to consider. You may be growing and testing new ideas where a membership community could be really helpful for you because you're looking for that ongoing education, the peer support, the feedback, and encouragement from others and learning in community while you experiment and grow. It may be that you feel really confident in the direction that you're going. You feel confident in your strategy, your vision for your business, but you want to learn some new things from other people. That can be a great way to dive into community. Or it may be that you're in a stage of business where you're ready to do that scaling. You're ready to really refine. You're ready to really dive in and give your big effort to something. That's when coaching can also come into play because it gives you that personalized guidance. It also helps when you need that clarity and you're looking for more specific help, not just general best practices, right? You want that customized experience that you're not going to get with a course or a community. Then in that stage and that area of your business, coaching may be right for you. Okay, so I want you to consider, what is your stage of business? Are you just starting out? Are you kind of growing and testing new ideas? Or are you placed that you're like, I'm ready to scale this thing. I'm ready to, and I don't love the word scale sometimes. I think it's been overused in our industry when you look at online marketing. What I would say is not just ready to scale, but ready to go deeper, ready to really commit to the long-term vision and get a plan in place that's going to help you do that works for you. That is the key differentiator. Okay. All right. So your stage of business is one, but also your learning style is a second consideration I want you to think about. How do you learn best? If you're someone who is an independent learner, like you are all about, I can schedule, Denise, I'm going to be at this time every week on this day, consuming the content from that course, and I'm going to implement what I'm learning on my own, then do it. Do the course. Like, honestly, I'm cheering for you. I did that as well. When I told you I started out, I literally put it on my calendar every week, a date with myself to consume the content and immediately apply what I was learning. So if you're someone who can do that, go for it. If you're more collaborative, if you're like, I actually really thrive more in a group setting, I like bouncing ideas off of other people, then a membership community might be a great place for you right now. But if you're saying, actually, Denise, right now, I'm really more of a one-on-one learner. I need that deep conversation to talk things through with somebody who's going to help me to get clarity on the other side. Like sometimes in coaching, you just need to say something out loud in order to get to that clarity piece. And that's more of a one-on-one aspect. Maybe you're saying, Denise, I am a learner. I will take action and I want some accountability. I want somebody telling me this is the homework that you need to get done before we meet next time, which is what happens in Take the Reins. If that's you, then that's where coaching comes into play, okay? All right, next consideration, what kind of support do you need? The support matters, right? Now, as I said in the very beginning of this episode, oftentimes, building and growing an equine business feels like it's being done in a silo. It can feel lonely, and you need support to do it in a sustainable way. So, what kind of support do you need, and how are you going to get that in a course, a community membership, or coaching capacity? If you're someone who's saying, Denise, I don't actually need a whole bunch of support right now. I've got clarity on where I want to go. I just need the knowledge of how to do that. Then that's a course. Like, go for that. If you're saying, actually, I really enjoy learning in community with other people, seeing what other people are doing, it really helps me. I don't get distracted by it. I love to network, and I think that really needs to be a part of my growth. Join that community membership. Or if you're saying, Denise, I need the information, but I also need the accountability. I need the customized approach. I need someone checking in with me. I need someone I can send a voice memo to and say, hey, I'm working on this social media post, but I need your feedback on it. It doesn't feel good to me yet. Or here's my email newsletter for this month. Can you please take a look? Give me what feedback you have to increase open rates or increase calls to action or whatever the case may be. Then if you need that kind of support, that is coaching. All right. That's where coaching comes in. All right. 2 more considerations, friends. The next thing I want you to consider when you're looking at a course versus a community membership versus coaching is time and investment. Those things do matter. There is nothing wrong with considering the amount of money. I know some people would say, well, you shouldn't just solely make your decision based on how much it costs. And that is true. And at the end of the day, we also know that everyone has a business bank account. Hopefully, you better have a business bank account. It's not all running through your personal. And so you have to consider that to be a wise business owner. But I also want you to look at time and energy because those are resources that you're going to need to invest in a course, a community membership, or a coaching experience as well. Now, oftentimes, courses, as we said earlier, they often are lower cost and they are bound by a certain amount of time. So, for example, someone's going to sell a course and then you have like 3 months to complete it. And maybe you have access to it always, but if you want that community component or you want the support, then it has to be done in those 3 months. That is going to definitely require your self-motivation, as we talked about, putting it on the calendar. And it's also going to require your time still. Sometimes a course actually requires more of your time than a higher level experience such as coaching because you're doing it a lot on your own, okay, without that support. Now then, memberships, I would say they're kind of in the middle, right? It definitely depends on the type of membership you're joining, who's hosting it, what the outcome is promised, all of those things. So I don't want to talk really about the amount of money. It's a consideration. I'm not going to tell you, well, this one's typically this or not, but it's a consideration as you're making the decision for your business. Okay. And then it is a consideration when I think of your time. And here's what I mean by that. With a membership community, you may not have to consume a certain amount of content to get the result every month the same way you would with a course. But so often people will join a membership community and never even get in and have discussions in the community. And so then you're not going to get the return on investment if you're not going to put some time into that. So memberships still require a time investment in order to get that return that you're after. And I just want you to consider that as you're looking at your options. And then you do have coaching, depending on one-on-one or a group. The investments can vary. It typically is a higher investment than a course or a membership. And when you think about that from a business perspective, that probably makes sense to you in terms of if you go to a clinic, right, that clinician can charge a lower price when they've got 20 participants than if they're going and traveling somewhere just to meet with one person. Okay, so that makes sense, I hope, and from a business perspective. So yes, when you have that one-on-one approach, it is going to cost a little more, but also it's going to give you the potential for a higher return because oftentimes what happens is the more we invest, the more we put in. Okay, it's higher touch, but it's also higher potential for return. So how does that work? Well, again, let's look past at your past. How many courses have you purchased before that are still sitting in your inbox that you have not even watched one video yet? Or maybe you watched a couple and you were like, I'll return to this, but I only paid a couple $100 for it, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But when you invest in coaching, that you're not going to do that because you're actually investing. Your investment is very much related to the amount of effort that you put in. And truly, that's basic buyer psychology. When you buy a pair of boots, if you pay less than $100 compared to if you pay $1,000, think about the care that you're going to take for that $1,000 pair of boots versus the $100 pair of boots, right? It's the same thing when it comes to your business. When you invest, do I want you to make a wise decision with that? Absolutely. And part of that is knowing, gosh, I am ready to see a difference and make a difference. And so I'm going to invest because I know when I do that, I'm going to really put in the work that I need to see that change happen. All right, the last consideration is your season of life and business. Sometimes it's not so much about the stage of your business and it's more about where you're at right now personally and where you're at right now in the season of business. Your capacity matters a lot, especially because you are the owner of the business. And so much, some of you all, of what happens in your business is dependent on you and your health, your mental health, right? Those things matter. And so I want you to consider your capacity and your season of business, your season of life, as you are looking at deciding through a course or a community membership or a coaching experience. So, for example, if your life is full and you just need bite-sized learning that you can take in at your own pace, a course might be just what you need right now. If you're craving connection and accountability in this season of your business, maybe a membership is the right place for you. Or if you're really serious, you've got the time and the money to invest and you want to make a leap, you want to see that progress happen in your business and you're very clear about what you want, then coaching is the investment for you. Okay, so these are the 5 things I want you to consider because all 3 options have a place. They can all be the right fit for you in a specific time of your business. It's just about choosing what's right for you right now in this season. And if you are ready for that personalized, hands-on guidance, that is exactly why I created Take the Reins one-on-one coaching. It is a personalized one-on-one business coaching program for equestrian entrepreneurs who are ready to ditch the overwhelm, overcome the roadblocks holding you back, and grow an equine business that meets your version of success. This program is not a shot in the dark. Tell me what you need type of coaching experience. You're not just going to get on the call and I'm going to say, what do you need today? How can I help you? Yes, I'm here to help you, but I'm also here to guide you through a framework to meet your goals. And so in our time together, I will guide you through my proven Saddle Up and Go framework. And as a result, you'll get crystal clear on what success means to you. You'll craft messaging that connects to your best fit audience. You'll create a cohesive plan for your social media, your website, and your email marketing so that you can build an equine business that meets your version of success. Now, due to the personalized nature of a one-on-one coaching experience, as we talked about, I'm able to help you address what's keeping you stuck as it relates to growing and marketing your business. So mindset is one of the things that I'm paying attention to and we're going to tackle. We're going to tackle strategy and we're going to look at marketing methods because it all matters. Here's what I know, friends. Growing a horse business that meets your version of success takes more than just the latest viral video. It takes clarity on where you're headed, the confidence to share your message, and a plan that you can actually stick to. And it takes someone in your corner guiding you, encouraging you, helping you to stay focused on what matters most. Because you do not have to figure it all out alone. And that's where Take the Reins comes in. So if that interests you, friends, I would love to invite you to apply for Take the Reins one-on-one coaching. Applications are open for my final 2025 session right now, so you can start immediately. If you head over to stormlily.com/reins, you can get the information there. I only have 6 slots left for this fall, and I would love for you to be one of them. Now, I will leave you with this. I want you to remember that results do not happen by accident. Your dream equine business, whatever that dream is in your head and your heart, isn't going to happen by accident. It's going to happen because you followed a system, because you've taken the steps, because you've done the work and you received the help necessary to get where you want to go. Now, if you're ready to finally have that clear path to grow your equine business your way, I would love to do it with you. Go to stormlily.com/reins today, learn more about the program, apply, and I cannot wait to see you inside Take the Reins.